I guess I have to take him with me. Isn't that right, buddy? I'm sorting the books. There's my shadow. Hello. I'm sorting the books that I'm bringing with me. These are books I'm absolutely bringing with me on the move. These are books I'm hoping to bring with me on the move. This is everything I'm bringing to DC to leave in DC. So basically all books I've read that I want to bring back to my book collection and leave there. Books I want to bring to DC and leave in DC, but we'll see how I have space. And then over here, books I'll probably end up leaving in the Bay Area for now and pick up at a later point. Today I am doing a little mini intro because it's so last minute. I'm literally leaving for the airport in about half an hour. I want to do a little bit of intro to my bookish moving vlog. I'm going to be doing a couple of stopovers, lots of flights, lots of time for reading. So I have stuffed my Kindle with Libby books. I think I have like 5 books checked out from the library right now. I have my copy of Harrow the Ninth, and I'm finally ready to start my reread of Harrow the Ninth, which I meant to do months ago, but it has been a couple of reading slump months for me. So I'm going to be starting my reread of Harrow the Ninth, which I'm very excited for. So I'm excited to take you with me on this little like travel moving vlog-ish type thing. I don't know how much footage I'm actually going to get. I'm not one who is like in a time of crisis. I need to whip out the phone to film. More like in a time of crisis, I like shut down and then I'll be like 2 days later, frick, I meant to film that. But if everything goes smoothly, then you'll be getting lots of footage, ideally. But yeah, I'm not one for talking in public to my phone, so I will probably update you again once we get to DC. For the books I'm planning on reading, I think I'm gonna start with a book I saw recently recommended on BookTube, Where the Dark Stands Still. I believe this book is based on Russian folklore, and someone said it was recommended for fans of The Bear and the Nightingale, which I loved. So that's why I grabbed it. And then if you don't know what Harrow the Ninth is, it's the sequel to Gideon the Ninth. It is a sci-fi series about necromancers and incredible interpersonal relationship dynamics. It's not like dark academia at all, but it has the same sort of relationship dynamics as if it were dark academia. So if that's your in, maybe that would work. But I'm really excited to start my reread of Harrow the Ninth because it was the only book out of the 3 Locked Tombs books that are out that I gave 4 stars on my first read. But I do think it's a 5-star book now that I know what I'm getting myself into. So that's why I'm really excited to reread it and hopefully bring up my rating. Because now I'm obsessed with the series. So it only makes sense for all of them to be 5 stars. So I have to reread Harrow. But yeah, that's my plans. I have to go close my suitcases now and do a final weigh-in. But I will see you again very soon. We're doing a little library walk with the flurries of snow falling down around us and my hot chai. Shout out Sadamo, best chai in DC. This is getting increasingly less cozy and increasingly colder. So let's find a bookshop. I finally had a second where I can give an update. Mostly reading updates, but also just some updates on like general explanations, because I forgot to film the introduction to this video until like 5 a.m. in the morning, the day I was flying, so I don't know how coherent I ended up being. But I'm currently in the process of moving. I've flown back to DC to pick up some of my things, mostly books that I need to pick up, but also snow clothes for the colder weather. Till I'm moving to Sweden for a period of time to be with my family, because my family is Swedish. So I'm going to be living with some family there. I'm kind of all over the place. Working remotely allows you to do that, so I'm in a bunch of different places, so don't mind me. The important part for this vlog is that I'm traveling. You don't care about my life, just that I'm traveling and I'm reading books, and you want to hear about me traveling and reading books, and the books I'm reading while traveling. That's the important part. On my flight to DC, I was traveling for about like 8 or 9 hours, so I did get a lot of reading done. I started 2 books. I started Harrow the 9th, which I've discussed a few times recently on my channel, that I'm doing a reread of the Locked Tomb series, which is a series of books that I love, but I didn't really understand Harrow the first time I read it through, which kind of hindered my enjoyment. So now I'm rereading it and annotating it to shit and back, like hardcore annotating it, in order to fully understand what's going on, and I'm absolutely adoring it on the reread. The beginning part was so hard for me on my first read, but I'm really, really thoroughly, I just love the way Tamsyn Muir story crafts. She's incredible. The book is incredible. I am about, I want to say, a quarter of the way through. I finished at Act 2, at the beginning of Act 2, so hopefully that's maybe like a quarter of the way through, but I've been working on that, really enjoying the reread. If you have not, I just would like to say again, if you like sci-fi or even like just epic high fantasy, like large casts of characters, large stakes, read this book. I think this book is both poorly and well marketed, in that like the people that it's marketed towards will enjoy it, like lesbian necromancers in space. Those people will enjoy this book, but I think that it's missing out on a huge market of people that would also love this book, which is just classic sci-fi enjoyers. I think what Tamsyn Muir does with sci-fi in this series, and with words and with writing, is just one of a kind. And I think this is like a series that everyone should read personally, because I think it's just a work of art. But still working on that. And then I also was very excited on a surprise, like 30 minutes before my flight was gonna leave. I was sitting in front of my gate, and Bloodmarked, the sequel to Legendborn, came in from the library, and I was like, finally! It was perfect timing. But I actually haven't really started it yet. I've read a couple of chapters while I was waiting for the flight, but I think I'm just reading too many fantasy books at once. And unfortunately, all of the books I have checked out from the library right now are fantasy books, which is fine. But I think I'm going to finish the other book I'm working on right now before I start Bloodmarked, which I think I might be able to do, because I'm currently reading The Traitor Queen by Danielle Jensen. This is the sequel to, what was it called? The Bridge Kingdom. This is the sequel to The Bridge Kingdom, which also came in from the library. I wasn't like obsessed with The Bridge Kingdom. I liked Danielle Jensen's writing. I think it's very like clean and simple, and I think that she does like a really straightforward, nice political intrigue fantasy that I enjoy. I like the way that the characters interact and move around. I am not really into the series for the romantasy specifically. Like, I'm not super invested in the relationship from the Bridge Kingdom, which is continuing in The Traitor Queen. But I'm kind of invested in like the story crafting and like how are they going to resolve this conflict in this land. And in the process, I'm getting more attached to the characters too. So I wanted to continue that series because I'm really trying not to start more series without finishing them. So I'm going to continue reading the Traitor Queen series, even though I didn't realize it was an unfinished series. I thought it was a duology, which is a little annoying, but luckily the books are pretty straightforward to get through. Like, they're not hard to read. So I can say for the Traitor Queen, I'm about 50% of the way through it. It is like I said, it's a romantasy, but mostly political intrigue. Like, not as much romance. Set in a fictional world where there's 4 kingdoms, I believe, who are all sort of at odds with one another, trying to economically and militarily one-up one another. But the most important part of this conflict of this first 2 books that I'm in, I know the other books go into the other kingdoms, but the most important conflict for the moment is that there's this bridge, basically, that one kingdom controls right now, but this other kingdom really, really wants access to it. So the other kingdom's king sends one of his daughters to marry the king of the bridge kingdom and become queen of the bridge kingdom, but she's secretly an assassin meant to take down the kingdom from within. That was the first book. Now we're on to the second book. There's obviously a romance occurring between the married off couple. And I'll just say that I'm enjoying the Traitor Queen. It's going pretty quickly. I'm reading it on my phone, so it's a good, like, while I was walking around today doing errands and, like, waiting for the bus and waiting at a coffee shop, then I could, like, read a couple of chapters here and there. So I think that's how I've been able to make so much progress. And I'm really hoping to finish the Traitor Queen on my flight tomorrow, maybe even before my flight, maybe even, say, in the airport while I'm waiting. We'll see. Yeah, because I want to finish Traitor Queen as soon as possible so then I can start Bloodmarked, because I'm so excited to start Bloodmarked. I've been waiting for it. Ever since I finished Legendborn, I've been, like, itching to start it. But yeah, those are my reading updates. In terms of other book-related updates, one of the things I was doing here in DC was going to visit my book collection, my beloved book collection. I've missed her so much. I opened up all the boxes and I was, like, digging through these books, and I need to move somewhere permanent so I can have all my books assembled together again, because I miss it so much. But I was essentially exchanging out a bunch of books that I read over the past 3 months while traveling for the books I want to read in the next months while traveling. I would say highlights you can expect. I picked up Jade Legacy, so I'm going to finally finish the Greenbone Saga, which I'm so excited about since I just finished and loved Jade War. So I'm excited. I have Jade Legacy now, and I'm going to read that. What else did I pick up? I picked up the sequel for The Bear and the Nightingale, and so now I have book 2 and 3, and so we're going to read those. Very excited. I also picked up some books that I really want to read specifically for vlogs, but I won't spoil what those are yet. And then a couple of classics for my classic reading plans. I ended up being able to take a lot more books than I anticipated with me. I thought originally I capped it at like 15 books, just what I could fit in my carry-on, but I ended up having a ton of extra like weight limit for my suitcases, so I kind of just like shoved some books into the corners of my suitcases. So I have some extras with me that I'm very excited for. But yeah, those are it for my book-related updates. I'll also say I also got a haircut while I was here. If you're wondering why my bangs are a little bit scuffed, it's because I got a haircut and then I wore a winter hat all day because it's been -6 degrees and snowing in DC, so my hair looks a little bit scuffed. Please ignore. I also wandered around to some local bookshops. I didn't buy anything, managed to resist, even though there was a signed copy of Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. Oh, I wanted it so bad, but it's not the edition I want, because I really want that UK/Barnes & Noble special edition covers that are a little bit more like mild in color scheme. I really love those. So I didn't want to buy this one even though it was a signed copy, because one, it was $30, which is not in my book buying budget, and then two, because it's not the cover I want. So I managed to resist. But overall, a great book related day so far. It's been like 36 hours of travel with a lot of book related content and more to come. I will have another flight where I'll get even more reading done, but I will not be filming myself talking where other people can hear me because anxiety. So you will just get little B-roll clips that I managed to grab as I take you with me on the next part of my moving journey. I guess I will see you in Sweden. We made it, woo! It's actually been a couple of days since we made it. And also, this is probably the last time I ever do like a moving, even like maybe like a midst of travel vlog, because I was way too stressed handling my 3 suitcases through the airport to think about whipping out my phone and being like, let's film an action shot. So I didn't get that much footage, but we live and we learn. I think I'm still gonna post this. I think I'm still gonna make this into a little vlog because I got some footage that I did like, and I really like the vibes of shifting climates during a video that I went from California to DC where it was freezing and we had like a little bit of snow, to Sweden where we have a ton of snow, obviously. This is not a fake backdrop. This is like actually how much snow there is outside. It's not very much. It's like only a foot right now. Kind of a weirdly early spring we're currently having, but we should be getting more snow very soon, which I'm very excited for. Thank you for coming along with me. Let me talk about the books I read in this video, some of which I've already briefly mentioned, but I will talk about again. I did finish The Traitor Queen while I was still in DC. I just didn't have time to update it because I finished it like on the day I was flying in a cafe. I liked it just as much as the first book. I felt like it was very continuous. The things I liked about the first book, I still liked. There's just something about it that's like very cookie cutter. Like I feel like, oh, I feel like I've read this before. Like I feel like I've read this on a fanfiction website and before. So that's why the series like doesn't go crazy for me or anything like that. But I'm actually kind of invested in the world building and the politics building of this world. So I think I'm gonna keep up with the series. Like I think I'm gonna keep up with the next, are there like 3 more books out? They're pretty short and sweet. I read it in like 2 travel days. So that's fine. But I did finish it and I liked it. Why does the main character have to be naked all the time? I swear to God, that girl is just walking around ass out in almost every single scene of the book. And I'm just like, come on, we're at war here, like, please. But other than that, I really did have a good time with the second book. If you like The Bridge Kingdom, you'll probably like The Traitor Queen. They're equivalent in my head. Like, it's a continuous storyline and it follows up pretty well. Oh, and then after I finished The Traitor Queen, I did start Bloodmarked, which I talked about how excited I was. This is the sequel to Legendborn. Legendborn leaves off not really on a cliffhanger, kind of on a cliffhanger, but like on a big action event that needs follow-up that I thought was going to totally carry the second book, and I was really, really excited for it. And hot take, I really, really didn't like Bloodmarked. I really struggled with it. As you might know if you watch my Sanderson reading vlog, when there's like one thing that annoys me in a story, then I really start like noticing that one thing and it starts coming up all the time. And like if it's just that, unless that thing gets fixed pretty quickly, then it kind of ruins my reading experience. I'm just annoyed the whole time. So for Bloodmarked, that was the main relationship. Basically, it's a YA series. There's a love triangle, blah, blah, blah. I think it's pretty well done, like as far as love triangles go, in terms of the fact that the guys were also into each other at one point in the past and that they have history. So like it is like an actual triangle. Unfortunately, this book, Bloodmarked, focused solely on building up the relationship between the main character, Bree, and one of the prongs of the triangle, Sel. And I kind of hated it. Like, I found it he was so unbelievably cringy as a love interest. He felt like the author was trying to bring in all these like dark romance tropes into Sel's character when they're all like 17 years old. And he's like, I can't let anyone else touch you. Like, I won't let you out of my sight. All of that stuff that annoys the shit out of me in a regular romance, let alone in a YA fantasy series where the romance should not be prominent. But it felt like this entire book was just that romance. It was just Bree and Sel. And I really didn't like it. And I feel like also maybe the author's trying to like set up a polyamorous relationship in the future between the 3 main characters, which I think would be great. But by doing that, then she's like trying to remove jealousy from the factor. But in doing so, she kind of just removes any like care or concern that the characters may have. Like Bree is still technically dating the other part of the love triangle when she's like heavily flirting with Sel and they're getting together, and it feels like they do not care about his feelings whatsoever, which is just crazy to me. I don't know, like it was not well done, and it really, really bugged me. Like I couldn't sink into the world building or the plot at all because Sel and Bree were just like macking on each other the entire book, and it was so very irritating, and I really disliked Sel's character in this book, and I actually really liked what happened with him in book 1, that like we got an explanation for his assholeness. He got a lot of character growth in book 1. In this book, he felt like he had zero character growth. He was just irritating from start to finish. I really don't like any of the side characters in this series so far. I kind of like Nick. I love Bree, the main character. She is the only character I enjoy. The side characters are just in her way all the time. They are so frustrating to deal with. So yeah, I didn't have a good time with Bloodmarked. I'm sorry. I might still read Oathbound, the next book, which comes out really soon. But I think I'm actually gonna make my best friend read it first and tell me whether or not the romance bits get better, because I couldn't get over it. So that is my mini rant on Bloodmarked. Sorry. Like I said, my reviews are not like the word of God, which, by the way, leads into the next book I was going to talk about. I also read Harrow the Ninth in this video, I reread Harrow the Ninth in this video. And if you want proof why you shouldn't take my reviews as fact, well, the first time I read this book, I was like, ugh, why do I care about these people? I think I literally wrote in my first review of Harrow, and if you've read the series, you know how dumb this is. I wrote, how the fuck am I supposed to remember who Camilla is? I don't know who that is. Now on reread, I was like, what was wrong with me? Was I reading this book with my eyes closed? How did I not know who Camilla was? Yeah, so this reread was absolutely 5 stars. This book is absolutely world-shatteringly incredible. And I think if you read it the first time and you didn't understand anything that was going on, reread it and maybe reread it again, and it will become god tier, because that is what it is. Tamsyn Muir is a genius. This book is a work of like sci-fi art, honestly. Like, this is probably the best sci-fi book I've ever read. It's just incredible. The way that she weaves romantic and platonic connections together to such a point in which the book is just like about love. Like, you don't really know what form that love is going to take. It's just about love, familial love, platonic love, romantic love, all of it together. And with this incredible world building aspect that does not treat the reader like they're dumb. Like, it does not think you're dumb. It's like, I'm gonna make this as artistic as possible. I'm gonna make this as like windy as possible, and you're gonna have to figure it out. And I adore that. On this reread, I was finding so many moments. I tabbed for lore drop moments on the top, and for just like quotes I liked on the bottom, and then also deaths, as I do. And I was just so obsessed with how much I missed on my first read through. Like, my first read through, I basically was just reading for hints of Harrow and Gideon. Like, I was just one track minding it, like, where's Gideon, where's Gideon, where's Gideon, like, through the whole book. And now that I know what happens, and I was really taking my time with it and trying to absorb the rest of the parts of the story, I fell in love with every single character in this book. So clearly my first read of this was just wrong. So back to Bloodmarked. If you don't like my review, don't worry, I may not like it either in a year. I review based on how I feel while I'm reading the book, and that doesn't always stand up the test of time. But this book, if you didn't like or you struggled with on a first read, I think it's meant to be reread. It's meant to be annotated. It's meant to be broken down. I was like underlining things as I went, and so much ended up being underlined. There's so many little hints and moments leading to the rest of the plot of the story. Just incredible. What an amazing reread experience. What an amazing book. This is now my favorite book in the series, probably just in terms of sheer like art that it is. Gideon will always have that special place in my heart for like bringing me into the story. Nona will have that special place in my heart because of Nona. But this book is like the linchpin of the series so far. It ties everything together. It's so incredible. Yeah, I could keep talking about it forever, but I already talked about the series so much on my channel that if you haven't picked this series up yet, what are you doing? What are you doing? Challenge yourself. Read something amazing. Do it. But yeah, those are my reading updates for this video, and I will leave it off here. This is my new setup. I don't know how I'm gonna have this set up. I don't know where I'm gonna be sitting. I don't even have a bookshelf yet for my books. That's why they're sitting on a windowsill. I don't know how the lighting is gonna turn out for this clip. This is kind of a test run. We're gonna see where I position my chair or position my setup. We're gonna make myself a cozy little setup for the next bit, and we're gonna finally be able to get into all of the snow book related content that I've been saving for this moment. But that is all. Thank you so much for watching 2 reading vlogs in a row. I have a bunch of other videos lined up to come up after this, but I hope you enjoy reading vlogs. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!